But at the same time, like, Sylvanas taking it's so unlikely, and then he gets this trade for free, which is pretty shitty for me. I don't know. I'll just do Sarah. I mean, I'll just Sylvanas believe. We'll get that down. We're gonna steal the Tyrion. I don't care. I'm giving up the 6-3 for free. We're gonna try and take the Tyrion. If we take it, we can win. If not, it's gonna be a lot harder to win. Oh, that made things worse. Oh, okay. So, if I Deathwing, he takes it, man. He's got the answer. Fuck, dude. I guess I gotta kill these Sylvanases somehow. We got Reno for later. I guess I'll just, like, get this down to... just to get it down. I don't know what we're doing anymore. Oh, sweet Jesus. This is the greediest paladin list I have ever seen. Oh, cool. We pulled Reno. We gotta kill these Sylvanases somehow. I guess at the end of the day, giving him a 12-12 is much better than facing all of this. So I guess we're giving him a 12-12. He's only got 17 damage after that, and we can Reno. If there was only one Sylvanas, we could answer this problem. But there's two. We can't Reno afterwards because we discard it. I don't know, man. We're top deck in BGH. We already used BGH. We top deck in Crush. We got top deck Crush. What the fuck? Why did he get that one instead of the make 3-3s? But I don't know, it killed me, so... The best play was give my opponent Deathwing. Feels bad, man. Hey, what's up, Bellafino? How's it going, dude? Alright. That hurt. Alright, one thing that happened in that game that we saw caused a little bit of a problem is we had a bunch of 6 drops and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 drops. And the reason behind that is because we run a boatload of them. We have normal control warrior runs like 1 or 2 maidens, and then like it usually runs 1 maiden, Sylvanas, and Justicar. So only 3 6 drops in standard control warrior, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6 drops, and that's a lot of 6 drops. So even though we are kind of a greedy deck, we got like Gorehowl, we got Reno, which Reno can kind of make up for some extra greed because it heals you for 25 or whatever. It can't make up for that much greed. And another thing is, we can run some 2-ofs, especially with cards that we're keeping off the mulligan, with Reno decks. You can usually have 2 or 3 2-ofs and still be able to get your Reno off quite consistently. So I'd like to see some actual 2-ofs, even though it's a Reno deck. And namely Deathbite, because that card is the bee's knees in Warrior. Just, oh my god, that card's good. So what I want to do is I want to drop a 6-drop here, and I'm thinking we want to drop Emperor, because we don't have that many of the cards that are really good with Emperor. was Emperor usually lets you pull off combos really well and just play big things easily. So it can let you play Deathwing pretty easily or Ysera pretty easily, but we don't have like cool Alex swing turns that we can do. We don't have too many Shield Slam combos because we only have one Shield Maiden, one Shield Block, so it doesn't let us get sweet Shield Slam combos decreased. So I would like to see the Emperor gone. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 6 drops, which is a little more reasonable. I want to see a second Despite in here. Despite's going to help us kill things in general. Just like whatever. And it's good against every deck. It's just good against Hearthstone. Despite's great. So Despite's solid. And then what can we do here? It's also going to help us set up our Bouncing Blades too, because it's a Whirlwind effect for that. So that's not bad. And then we have the Zombie Chow and the 1 War-X, so like, I guess I can get behind only running 1 War-X. So I think we can keep Despite as like our only 2 of. We have the Death Lord in there. We got Piloted Shredder, not a bad card. Our AoE cards are Brawl and Deathwing. We don't really want to add in Geddon just because our curve's so high. We could have Brawl be a 2 of, honestly, to help out against aggro. I could get behind that. 1, 2, 3, 5 drops isn't bad. If we were going to drop another 6, it would probably have to be Shield Maiden, which seems kind of awkward, but we only have 1 Shield Slam, so like Shield Maiden's value goes down a lot anyway. So if we just run these as our 3 6s, and then, well, can we even count Reno Jackson as a 6 though? Since it is Reno Jackson, you're obviously not going to want to be playing it on curve, so we can probably count that as a utility card, and I guess consider it, we have 4 6s, but really we only have 3 6s because Reno Jackson isn't a card you're going to be playing on curve anyway. Then we have 3 7s, which this isn't really a 7, so 2 7s, which is pretty ideal for a Control Warrior curve. And then we got our top end, which is fine. Alright, so what are we going to do with the rest of this? I like Bash, I like Slam. We're just missing, I don't know what we're missing now. It seems pretty solid, honestly. I like it. I want to get another AoE clear, though. I want to get either another Brawl or a Geddon in there. There's so much cancery bullshit out there that Brawl's just good against. So what can we get in for another Brawl? We have a Death Lord. Death Lord works really well with Brawls, too, because they kill the Death Lord, which then sets up for your Brawl. So that's another reason to just justify getting a second Brawl in there. Chad is suggesting Ghoul. I don't like Ghoul very much. We already got like a solid amount of removal. We have Slams and Armor Smiths and Cruel Taskmasters and Bash. So like our 2s are good. Our 2s are good for sure. That's why I don't even mind only having 1 War-X, is just because we have a solid 2 line for sure. But no, Revenge doesn't do enough as a card slot in my opinion, especially with 1 Acolyte of Pain. Our draw is significantly reduced compared to normal Control Warrior. So then if we're playing cards that don't hold a lot of weight, we're going to run out of cards in our hand. So I really don't like Revenge. But a Brawl does a similar effect as Revenge, but holds a lot more weight as a card. So I want to fit a second Brawl. And it's just kind of tentative of what to take out for the second Brawl. I don't want to cut Deathwing, but I want to cut Deathwing. If that makes any sense. Like, come on. Deathwing. It's so beautiful, but at the same time, that's the card I would cut. I would take out a Deathwing and I'd put in another Brawl. I think Deathwing is too slow in a curve-based deck. It's more for when you're trying to like fatigue everybody or trying to like tank up out of everything. And like Fibonacci hit #1 legend with Tournament Medic, Justicar, Deathwing, kill everything, kind of fatigue warrior sort of thingy. So that sort of thing is where Deathwing can work. I think Deathwing in this sort of deck where you're trying to follow a curve, like we have a solid curve in the deck and we're just trying to play minions on curve, keep up with our opponent, and then use Reno Jackson to outvalue him at the end of the day and get value out of things like Gorehowl and our Ysera and whatnot. So I like going with the second Brawl and the second Despite to help us be better against aggro, help us clean things up a little bit, and lower our curve a little bit down from the 6s because we added a 4 and a 5. So yeah, I think this is a lot cleaner. So that's what I would do to the Reno Warrior deck. So there we go. Cut out Crush for Geddon. Nah, we need the single target removal. That's why I went with Brawl over Geddon, because we want enough single target removal, because we have one Execute, one Shield Slam, and then now we need to figure out ways to get other single target removal without making two ofs. So we went with Bouncing Blades and Crush, which I think is fine. We have four single target removals, which is plenty. So I like the Crush there. No Fierce Monkeys. No. Fierce Monkey is like not enough as a card slot. It's the same sort of problem that Revenge runs into. It's just like not high impact enough in my opinion. So I like this deck. Alright, Doctored. Alright, moving on to the next deck. We have Optimus Carp's deck. And his Beast Druid. You could put in a BGH. There was already a BGH in the deck. So I don't want another 2-of. I like, you can make Reno decks work with 3 2-ofs, but I think you need more card draw to make 3 2-ofs work very well. So I like going only 2 2-ofs, and then you usually have the 2-ofs out of the way by the time you reach Reno Jackson. And yeah. 3 is like pushing it. You're gonna need a lot of card draw when you have 3. Like 3 is like usually only good. 3 2-ofs works in Freeze Mage, and that's about it. No other decks really work that well with 3 2-ofs that are Reno decks. So I like 2 2-ofs max for the most part, and that's my like general rule of thumb for Reno decks. But I'm not a Reno scientist. That's how I feel when I play the Reno decks. All right, Beast Druid. Druid to the Saber. One Roar. Mounted Raptors. Swipes. Keeper the Groves. Savage Combatants. Savage Combatants is such a fun card. I wish I could still play it in normal Druid, but it doesn't work for me. But Beast Druid, now we're talking. Knight of the Wild. Alright. When I first saw Knight of the Wild, I was like pretty hype about Beast Druid, until I realized it's whenever you summon a beast and this card's in your hand. So it makes it a lot worse than it first seemed like it was going to be. So you have to have it in your hand, and that's super awkward. But maybe we have enough beasts and we can just pull it off. We got a single combo. It's like we got a pretty late game intensive curve, honestly. It's like a little bit faster than normal Druid, but not by much. What am I missing though? 2 cards. Haunted Creepers. So if we look at the curve, we got a healthy number of 2-drops for not playing Wild Growth, so I like that. We're a bit more aggressive with that. We're running 1 copy a combo because we're trying to focus on more consistent draws with the 2-drops and the beast sort of things, because the beast things kind of require some amount of synergy with them. And then we got the 3s, we got the 4s, and Savage Combatant is a 4-drop. That's okay. Like, sometimes you want to use it as a 6-drop, so I might want to see put another 4 there with it. We have 4 5-drops, which is pretty standard for Druid. They usually have 4 or 5 or 6 5-drops, so I like that. And I don't know how Knight of the Wild works very well with the curve, so we're gonna have to kind of experiment with that and see. I think oftentimes it might turn into a 5-drop, which might make it feel like we have too many 5-drops, but I'm not really sure how it feels out. So we're gonna have to play with it and see how that works before we can really figure out where it belongs in the curve and where we need to fill in things. But a faster mid-range Druid with beasts in 1 combo. Let's see how it goes, man. Seems good. I like Druid a lot, so it's one of my favorite classes. So hopefully this is exciting. One Savage for BGH. There's already only 1 Savage. You want to play Savageless Druid? No way, the combo's too good. Alright. So, what cards are we looking for? We're looking for Innervate, Living Roots, Darnassus Aspirant, Haunted Creeper, Druid the Saber. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. So we want to mulligan everything for one of those 9 cards since it's better than this card. Odds are we'll find one. So since odds are in our favor, let's do it. Fuck. Well, we got the Knight of the Wild early, which could be super beneficial. Alright. Living Roots is kind of awkward here. We could play it next turn, though. So I guess we just get to work on this Zombie Chow and then try and play Living Roots next turn. Kind of clunky. Next turn we can play Savage Combatant or Swipe, depending on things go. So I guess we'll do this to try and like bait him to muster for battle, and then swipe it. Since that's our turn 4 anyway. So we'll go here, he goes there, muster for battles, kills the other one, we swipe him in the face. Not too bad. Seems good, man. It's not like ideal at the swipe since we're not killing a minion with it, but it's still 2 for winning. Ish. It's like 1.5 for winning. Mainly it's just we don't have a better turn 4 play, so we bait him to muster for battle so swipe turns into a even trade turn 4 play instead of playing this and then just getting true silvered and falling behind on board. So that's kind of the logic there. Using swipe just to keep up with my opponent rather than anything else. Right, this just dies to the Harrison Jones, so that's not good. He's already used the coin, so he's not going to be coining anything, so we don't prevent anything with this anyway. So I think we're just going to get 2 beasts out there and try and lower the cost of Knight of the Wild, and just have minions that stick around. So next turn we can use Savage Combatant plus Hero Power to trade up with one of these minions. Oh, 2-4. Wrecked. Shit. That Belcher protects that guy too good. Alright. So we can't actually get the Haunted Creeper to connect with it, which kind of sucks. We can, however, Savage Combatant Hero Power almost break through. Ah, that blows. That Belcher's strong as fuck. I need a removal here. That's something we don't have in the deck is Wrath. Wrath usually works pretty well with Savage Combatant, just because when you have a lot of ways to deal damage to things, having more ways to deal damage to things helps you control the board a lot better, because damage plus damage equals dead things. So usually when you have things like Savage Combatant, Living Roots, and Wrath all in the same deck, usually you have a hand that ends up being able to deal like 5 damage to something, which ends up being a magic number to help kill things. Alright. We'll take care of this, I guess. He's able to do that and develop whatever he wants, though, which is kind of scary. And we'll get to work poking this, so after he kills this off, this at least trades. Justicar. We only got 1 swipe left. But we do have this Haunted Creeper on the board, and his Light's Just is just finished, so it should be able to do a little bit of work. Okay. So, I guess we're gonna get this Knight of the Wild out here. Maybe Loatheb Knight of the Wild, so he can't, like, equality me? I don't know. It's like, it dies for free to the stupid Justicar. Okay. Well, I mean, would I rather have my 4/6 die and save a 6/6, or have my 6/6 die and save a 5/5? And prevent him from AoEing down all my little jitters? I think this is like definitely a stage where he would be wanting to like a quality conk or something, so that's why I kind of like the Lothab coming down here. Hopefully he doesn't kill any of these 1/1s. He just wasted an Eldor. Alright, we don't have a beast on the field, so that card doesn't work quite yet, but we can take care of that guy. We can do this. And then we can try and protect our Emperor here by trading here and there. Or we can just go face for 5. I think Emperor is going to die either way, so I'm going to get in the 5 face damage. I think that's important. We don't have our combo yet, but hopefully we're able to find it. Uh-oh. Yeah. Trading would have just lost 5 damage there, so it's a good thing we didn't trade. So this counts as a beast, right? So we get a 7/7? Pretty sure. Yeah. Cool. We drew Innervate though, that's really bad. We need to find our card draw. We need to find our lures. This is kind of awkward. We haven't hit our lures yet. Normally Druid that runs this many low drops runs 2 Azure Drakes to try and help with cycling a little bit. We don't have anything in the place of that in the standard shell right now. So we're running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2-drops without extra cycle. So that might be something we got to look into. But the idea is we want to be playing our hand really fast anyway. So cycle would kind of slow down the main theme of killing people. Swipe. We can try and just swipe this and try and make sure the 7 connects. We could swipe him in the face and try and set up for lethal other ways. I'm more inclined to believe the 7/7's dying either way, so I'm going to swipe him in the face. Seems like what a man would do. And we're going to just set up to kill him with Force of Nature, even after he swings. He still needs to find 1 damage to be able to deal with this without hitting it. Druid. Alright. Alright. Where's my... Is he gonna kill it? Because if he doesn't kill it, Keeper of the Grove's an out too. Alright, he is gonna kill it. But we have Druid of the Claw and Force. 2 outs. Damn. He's got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Second Keeper of the Grove's an out now. We have Druid of the Saber is also an out this way. Roar is an out. Savage Combatant's an out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the other Living Roots, so 6 outs for lethal. So 6 out of 16. Fuck. Now we just have Ancient Allure into, I don't know, somehow stay alive. Oh, we're gonna need a Doomsayer. We're Ancient Allure into good Doomsayer? Nope. We would have had it. We would have had it. Alright, we'll go for... We could go for Doomsayer is what I should have done. I wasted the Roar though. Alright, if we get Doomsayer and then we top deck Force of Nature, then I threw the game. I didn't get Doomsayer. Alright, so things we need to do. How do we make this? How do we improve the Beast Druid skeleton? So, Optimus Carp. Let me be real with you right now. We do not have enough card draw to support 5 2-drops in this deck. We also have the same, if not a bigger high end than the normal Druid. So, that's kind of curious. But Knight of the Wild is a card that seems like it'd be a lot better with more card draw because you need to be constantly drawing new beasts, playing new beasts while it sits in your hand. So being able to cycle into more beasts seems pretty good. But how do we fit that in? So we either need to speed up or slow down the deck because we got sick early game, questionable mid game, and then sick end game with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 drops and an Emperor. So we got to pick a direction here that we're going with it, because we lose the board in the middle of the game. So since we have the 2 drops, I kind of like the idea, if you haven't already played around with it, with just this guy. Yeah, this guy is not the worst thing in the world to help. It doesn't work very well with Haunted Creeper as a problem, but it works pretty good with Druid of the Saber, because you stealth it and then you can coin into this. Kind of like a Houndmaster, but just not quite as good. So I don't like having Emperor when we don't have very much draw and we only have 1 copy of the combo. Emperor's so powerful in Druid mainly because you have 2 copies of the combo, and you can just do retarded crap with the 2 copies of the combo with Emperor. So I'm not the biggest fan in the world of that card. We don't have Knife Juggler or Power of the Wild or anything that really benefits from the Haunted Creeper tokens, so I'm not too thrilled about the Haunted Creeper tokens being something that has to stay. But Haunted Creeper by itself, of course, is just a really good card. I want to try and fit this card in here because we need another 4-drop anyway, because Savage Combatant isn't the greatest standalone 4-drop. And since we have the early game presence of these 1 and 2 drops, I want to try and get some buff card on 4 that helps benefit from that. So I kind of like Wild Waker as possibly being thrown in there. And plus, it's just never that bad, because like later game you can buff things with it. It itself isn't a beast, which is kind of awkward, but having a way to buff these minions is pretty good. Especially Mounted Raptor, because they don't really even want to pop that. They're just going to let it be most of the time because they don't want to deal with the 1-drop, and then you can buff it on the following turn. So before this card was a card, this card was a lot worse. But now this card exists. It makes it a lot better, actually. So what can we cut here? I'd like to see like 1 of the Knight of the Wilds go for sure, because the card's like super duper slow. You have to like have it in your hand and stuff. It's not the worst thing in the world, and it sort of averages out your bad draws, I guess. Because let's say you draw Boom in your opening hand, and you're like, shit, this sucks. I'm going to lose now. I have Boom in my opening hand. Well, if you draw Knight of the Wild in your opening hand, it's not actually that bad, because you find some other 2-drop, something to go with it, it lowers the cost of it, and you get it out there. So that's kind of what I think the like purpose of the card is it sort of like takes over the Boom slot by being a consistent, but also a lot less powerful version of Boom. So I could see even cutting Boom and just running the Knight of the Wild and then lowering the curve and being way more aggressive with it as an option. That's definitely a direction you can kind of take the deck. So I'd like to see the second Wild Waker in there and count Savage Combatant more as like a 6-drop rather than as a 4-drop. And then I want to see the 2-drops be things that benefit from having increased health. So the 3/2s are able to then turn into a 3/5, which can actually trade up with a lot of things and be a lot stronger. So that's kind of why I like those as an option. And I explained a little bit earlier in the middle of the game that I really liked having Wrath, especially while running 2 copies of Living Roots and Savage Combatants, and Keeper of the Groves and Swipes and all that sort of stuff, is just because it gives you more options for trading with things, because removal plus removal equals dead things. And that's why Slam Bash Warrior worked, and why Bash is such a good card in Control Warrior, and why Slam started being used in Control Warrior, is because you have the bat, you slam it first, and then you bash it, and it's dead. So, like, removal plus removal equals dead things, and that's always a good combination to have. That's why Rogue is really good at killing shit, because they play all the removal, and then the removal complements the removal. So, I think Wrath is pretty good if we're going for any sort of board control-y approach. How we squeezed in there, that's a puzzle. Since I'm running this guy, I want to continue having the lower curve. Also, Wrath is a cycle card, so in the controller slower matchups, it allows you to cycle for your combo, and in the aggro matchup, it allows you to kill shit. So, it's just like really good at being well-rounded, and you have Ancient Allures in your deck, so obviously you're a bit of a slower deck. You're not Aggro Druid. Aggro Druid cut Wraths because they never want to cycle. They just want to kill shit. But you do sometimes want to cycle because you can play the control game with this deck, so I want to see the ability to play the control game in there. So, alright. What are we going to do for that? I can see, like, even just, like, Aspirant going, but I don't know. Coin Aspirant's pretty strong with this deck with the amount of crap you can just dump on the board really fast. We don't want to really lower the number of beasts too much. I can see cutting one of these guys, since Knight of the Wild sometimes comes down to be a 5-drop, and it's a situational card. So I'd cut one of these guys, put a Wrath in there, and then what else are we going to get rid of? What can we get to get this other Wrath in here? Sticking a tiny fin. You guys are crazy. I can see cutting one of these living roots. We have a lot of 2-drops and low drops already. We don't have very many ways to complement it. So against aggro, we have Darnassus Aspirants, so we don't really need living roots against aggro. We're running it just because it's a pretty good card. But they're not beasts. They don't fit the theme too well. We have anti-aggro things because we have 2-drops, so I don't think we need the living roots that much. So I like having the Wrath over there instead of that. Lose Innervate. You guys are going insane in chat. Don't do that. Don't cut Innervate. That card's good. Especially when you have so many high drops. Innervate is insane. So yeah, this is what I would kind of do to doctor the deck. I'd play around with like trying to fit in a double combo too. Because if you can fit in double combo, it's going to help a lot. Because double combo is insane. But there's a few different directions you can definitely take the concept. And that's either being faster or being slower. Because cards like Knight of the Wild and things like that can definitely be pretty strong in a slower deck, but Wrath adds more cycle to our deck. We're able to get Wild Wakers, so we're able to benefit off of the extra 2-drops we run in Druid. And we lowered the curve a little bit, so we're a little bit faster, so we can benefit off of playing early game stuff. Yeah, call that doctored. Could have dropped Knight of the Wild and put in second combo. Yeah, but you could do that. It's definitely an option. I think Knight of the Wild is definitely a playable card, though. And the Optimus Carp obviously wants to play Knight of the Wild because he owns Knight of the Wilds and he put it in the deck. And I think that's one of the main themes of the deck. And I was trying to make a deck that works around that concept and be good with running Knight of the Wild. So that's why we left the Knight of the Wilds in there. Alright, so now this is the Death Rattle Control Shaman. Oh, man. By Savvy Whale, or Saucy Whale. Saucy Whale. With the Death Rattle Control Shaman that's a rogue. Alright, so definitely want backstabs in our Shaman, and then yeah, I know, Saucy Whale. I'm just teasing you, man. I'm having too much fun with it. It's just funny because it's so much better than Shaman. You're doing good work, man. Where's Eviscerate? Oh, there we go. Alright, Fan of Knives. SI7. Raptors. Sabotage. Ooh, fancy. Dark Iron Skulker. Anubar. Alright. Feels Heal Man. Just got Skamaz for $3. Druid deck building. Add double combo. Add 26 other cards. Win 50+% of the time because combo. Ellie giggle. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. Not wrong at all. Alright. Zombie Chows. Blood Mage Thalnos. Loot Hoarder. Big Game Hunter. Pilot Shredder. Refreshment Vendor. And a heal bot. Sludge. Okay, so we're playing Death Rattle cards. We're trying to slow down the game and then get into a situation when a Nubarak can just kind of solo our opponent because they can't kill us, so they're forced to kill a Nubarak, and then we just keep playing it forever while they can't kill us. And they're forced to keep killing it. And Azure Drake's the card I'm missing. Alright, so we got card draw, we got Death Rattle things, we got Big Game Hunter, so we have answer to big things, we got Sabotage, so we have another answer to a big thing and a weapon, which is pretty key, I think. We got a boatload of heals, we got Refreshment Vendors, which makes sense because we're not trying to kill our opponent. We're trying to stall the game down to a situation where this card wins us the game by itself, or things like Karen and Dr. Boom and Sylvanas just outvalue our opponent. So I like that. Zombie Chows also fit that theme. We got Backstab, Eviscerates SIs, just standard good removal package stuff. Thalnos to help with spell power and help with cycling. The Thalnos Loot Hoarder stuff is debatable, but we have 2 drops, which is good. It helps kill things, so I like that. Plenty of heal. Azure Drake's always good in Rogue, so you can never go wrong there. I understand Skulker being just a removal option against aggro. I like that. Seems good, man. No oils or flurries or things. So it's going to be interesting playing a rogue with no flurries. But it kind of makes sense not to have flurries because you never want to let the board get out of control. You just want to keep even on the board the entire game and then play this on an even board state. So I understand not playing flurries. All right, Saucy Whale, let's do it. What deck is this? This is Saucy Whale's #1 legend, Death Rattle Rogue. So we're trying it out, trying to learn and stuff. Yeah, Flurry is definitely a lot of card commitment. I've played around with this before, and I think I started with 2 flurries, went down to 1 flurry, and then ended up with 0 flurries. So this is a concept I've actually tried to climb with when the cards came out. Alright, so backstab against Warrior. What are we trying to backstab? So, like, backstab's really good in the early game, obviously. But against Control Warrior, there's not too many, actually, things that we're going to hit. Like, an Armor Smith, that doesn't feel good to backstab. So, would instead, I think better, it's to try and find maybe our Loot Hoarders, or Zombie Chows, or Thalnos. Even Zombie Chows probably not good. We're learning to find, like, Loot Hoarders, Thalnos, SI7 Agent, Unearthed Raptor, those sort of things. Cards that have impact in the matchup. We could maybe keep Karen. We don't have Saps. Fuck it, man. Let's keep Karen. Karen's good in this matchup. Not many of our cards are great in this matchup, so Karen's going to be really helpful at slowing him down. So I'm just keeping a 6 drop off the mole. Obviously, Shredders is what we're looking for, and Drake's what we're looking for, because Drake recycles itself, so it keeps good value in our hand. We don't want to have Backstab in our hand, because Backstab holds like no value in the matchup. So card for card, we're lining up to do good work. Ooh, that's another card we would have kept off the mulligan. I like this hand. This is working out good. Next turn, what are the 3 drops in our deck? We could have an SI7. Would we just play it on turn 3? Maybe. Other than that, it's Big Game Hunter or a Loot Hoarder and a Thalnos. So we got, like, odds are we're not going to have a turn 3 play next turn, so I'm just going to poke with a dagger and redagger. Even though we have a Zombie Chow in the field, and we're probably healing him anyway. Odds are in our favor that we're just redaggering next turn. Damn. Didn't get 1 extra damage because he killed it. It's okay. Yeah, I'm not playing the SI. If I play the SI, it just lines up cleanly with his weapon. He's able to kill it, and he's able to get a Deathbite up later to kill something else. So I want to just stagger my minions in such a way that his weapons aren't ever trying to get full value. So... because I'm not trying to kill him. I'm trying to take the game to fatigue, essentially. So I don't mind this card, though, because his weapon does not cleanly kill this card. His weapon cleanly kills the first half of this card, though. So I'm going to play this card. And now he needs to play Slam or something, which interrupts his development, so he can't coin a 5-drop. So when he's removing this, hopefully he develops nothing, and then that lines into my Azure Drake, and then he's forced to develop Deathbite, and then I can play another thing. And basically, just make it so he never plays a minion because he has to be busy using removal to kill mine because I'm playing stuff that doesn't line up with his stuff. So his next weapon's Deathbite, so let's play Shredder. Because that doesn't line up very cleanly for him. And then next turn we play Karen. Happy New Year! Marty Jin 8. How's it going, man? Fuck Belcher. Alright. Let's see what pops out, I guess. We'll kill the first half and then play Karen. Yeah, this lines up with his minion. Karen lines up with warrior, so that works. Alright, so now he's got the Despite to try and knock off the first half of Karen. Hopefully he doesn't run Silence or anything weird. We can develop these two and get through that. I don't want to play any of these because they die for free in the Despite. I could play Sabotage, but then I don't get to kill a big minion. I'm just killing the weapon with it. So I think we want to save this for a situation where we actually remove a big minion, since we don't run any saps or anything. And Control Warrior runs a lot of big minions, so we got time before we need to remove a weapon. It's not like we're going to be tempoing him out here, because that's not the goal of our deck. So if the goal of our deck was to try and kill him with having a board, then we'd value sabotaging off the Despite a lot higher than we do here. We don't really value sabotaging it off that much because once we establish a board, we don't have any finishers to really kill him. So we're okay being patient. Value game, value game, value game. Not bro. Oh, his patron. Shit. I assumed he was Control Warrior. No! Why? Oh, wait. What was the donation? Alright. Missed my deck when I subbed. Feels bad. Oh, sorry. My bad, dude. I'll do your deck next, dude. I remember you subbing, so I apologize. I didn't see it in chat, man. You can refund your $3 too if you want. Sorry for missing your deck, dude. I really apologize for that. I do remember you subbing earlier on in the stream. I just didn't see your deck in chat. But I got you, man. Got you. Gundams 33D. I will do your deck next, man. No problem. Thanks for the donation. Sorry about missing your deck. Should have killed that Despite, huh? Alright, we can kill, can we kill all these patrons? Let's Azure Drake first and see what happens. Ooh! So we can kill both the 3/3s, and then we can poke this one, and then kill that one, and kill the Armorsmith. We can kill all of them. So let's do... I guess we want to keep as many minions alive as possible, so let's do this. And then we can go here for 3. Here for 3. Go here. There. There. And what is the advantage of developing one of these? Our board's pretty weak to whirlwinds already, but he just used most of his whirlwindy stuff with the minions. So I think it's okay to develop a loot order here. Oh, Battle Rage for 1. Ooh, that's good for us, man. If we can get him to start slowing down, running out of steam, that's the whole goal of the deck. That's what we've been trying to accomplish this whole game. Alright, we kind of want to save this for the second Despite. There isn't really anything big besides Boom and Grom. So it is kind of convenient that we do have an answer for Grom. We don't really need to tempo heal bot him in the face. So we can hold on to the heal bot. Probably just dagger him in the face. We can hold back on this and not overextend into Whirlwind. Because right now he can swing here in Whirlwind and clear our whole board. And that's scary. So I'm going to hold back on this and not overextend into that. That's new. Well, if he holds the weapon, then that'd be sweet. Oh, cool. Now we got options. Honestly, we're at the point where he's getting low enough that he's just going to die. So I think I am going to Sabotage. I mean, it's convenient. We're killing an 8/8 and a weapon. We get to combo it. Obviously, we'd prefer the second Despite, but he's got 1 weapon and 15 cards to go, so odds are he's probably not going to find it. Seems good. Man, keeping Karen was the play of the game. The old Karen off the mull. Turns out it's a pretty good card. Uh-oh, here comes Whirlwind. Wild Pyromancer. Uh-oh. Armor gain. He's killing my whole board. Goodbye, board. It's okay. He's running out of cards, though. That's the important thing. We need him to have no cards, and then our top decks are better because eventually we find the Anubarak. So as long as the board stays even, which is what it basically is right now, we find Anubarak eventually. Alright, so let's hold back Sylvanas since there's nothing on the board that's really big and we want to take, and we want to save it for value because we're not trying to kill him. And let's try and keep our Drake alive. Clear the board. Set this up to cycle. Seems pretty sweet. Okay. He's got one card remaining. So we don't want to play Sylvanas into the Death Spite and have it just die for free. Sylvanas is much more important to us than 5 damage most of the time. Oh, there's the card. There we go. This is what we needed. Now we just replay this for the rest of the game. So let's hold the dagger because it costs 9 and we can't redagger with it. So we just want to hit him for 8 every turn. So cool, the deck's working. The whole concept of stalling down the game, even board state, and play this guy. We drew him. I guess that's why there's Loot Hoarder and Thalnos in there, so you do eventually draw this guy. It's coming together now. I'm making sense of what we're doing. We could try and fan to find lethal. Or we could just BGH Belcher, redagger. I think I just BGH Belcher. Oh my god. All the threats. He's dead though. GG. Alright. Gotta win. Feels good, man. Alright, what can we do to this? What are we doing here to try and improve a little bit on this deck? I really like the Sabotage and BGH. Just having things that deal with big things worked out really well for us. The Loot Hoarder and the Thalnos ended up working out pretty well. I just wonder if there's maybe a better cycle card to accomplish this job. Like, we have double Zombie Chow, Backstab, and SIs already. So, like, we already have infinitely more early game removal than standard Oil Rogue does. So since we already have so much early game removal, I don't even think we need these 2 drops here to support our early game removal. Because like a lot of decks normally you need 2 drops to help out with that. But Backstabs, Zombie Chows, SIs. We don't have Deadly Poison, which I guess that kind of makes up for the absence of Deadly Poison. But still, I think I'd like to get another Drake in there instead. Drake over one of the Loot Hoarders. Drake's going to add like just more threat density. It accomplishes the cycling effect, but without being like a super weak card. Because a lot of times Loot Hoarder, besides on 2, isn't really going to trade for anything. It's just cycling a card. So I like having 2 Drakes in Rogue. We don't have Preps to go with them, but we got Backstabs to go with them. And Drake Eviscerate is never bad. And like Drake Fan on turn 8, stuff like that's pretty sweet. What else could we get in here? So we stalled out the game pretty well. Wizards spots that we had kind of clunky starts. Karen was insane. Karen was the MVP. That was kind of funny. Tome Pillager doesn't make any sense. Refreshment Vendors were really good all throughout the game. Sap doesn't make any sense because we're trying to kill all of our opponent's cards and fatigue their hand out. So we're trying to deal with all of their resources, and Sap isn't going to deal with their resources, so I don't like Sap. So I'm glad we don't have that in the deck. That's smart. Beneath the Grounds is too troll to work. Just the 4/4s come out at times when you can't actually control them. So it's like completely random. So it may come out in a good board state for you, it may come out on a bad board state for you. You don't know. So I like how that's not included. Assassinate's something we could potentially throw in there, but we already have a lot of 5s, and Dark Iron Skulker is just generally speaking better than Assassinate, and we have 2 ways to kill big things, which is generally speaking enough. 4 3 drops. We got 4 4 drops. Curve looks good there. Curve looks solid all around. The deck's good, man. I'm not a fan of the Loot Hoarder, but it seems like a necessary evil. This is what other cycle card are you going to play over the Loot Hoarder? Because you do need to eventually draw the Anurag, and you need to have ways to combo your things. Because you don't have Deadly Poison anymore, so like having 2 drops to help with the combos in Rogue. You don't have Deadly Poison or Prep, so like comboing things is hard. Finley could be good. We don't have Deadly Poisons or... But then we're taking up a card slot with a 1-mana 1/3, and then taking up a card slot with a 1-mana 1/3 is kind of shitty. But what hero powers you could get like Heal, you could get Armor Up, which would be beneficial for this deck. You could get Tap, which isn't the worst thing in the world. So I could see Finley going in there. But at the same time, now you're taking up a card slot with something that's a 1/3. And 1/3 is good against aggro, so maybe over a Zombie Chow. So I mean, like, Finley is slightly worse than Zombie Chow, because it's a 1/3 instead of a 2/3. But you get a better hero power, because we don't have any way that complements from having a dagger up anyway. So, yeah, I know Loot Hoarder combos with Raptor, but Raptor I think is more or less just in there just to be a good 3-drop, and then sometimes it helps you out. So, I like Raptor just for not like trying to focus on synergy with it. I like Loot Hoarder and Downless for helping cycle towards Anakbar, but I prefer to have something else over Loot Hoarder. It's just like there's not very good cards to put in that slot after you get the 2 Drakes, and you don't want to run Gnomish Inventor since you already got solid 4 line. So yeah, this is the changes I would make. I think this is good. So yeah, I'll call that doctored, and sweet. It's not Raptor Rogue. That's why we're not focusing on the Raptor. It's slow the game down, Rogue. And then play Anakbar, Anubark, or whatever you say the thing is. I don't know how to pronounce that. Alright. On to Gunzem's 33D's deck. Here we go. What kind of deck is this? We have the Priest, Peltris, or Riot. Alright. I'll be right back in 1 second, and then I'll get right on keeping on doctoring this deck. So, be right back. 30 seconds. Ugh. think I made it in 30 seconds that time. Okay. Circles, good card. Flash Shield, good card. Forward Shields, Clerics. Museum Curator. Death. Cultists. I like all these cards so far. Seems like a priest deck. Holy Novas. Light Bombs and Tombs. Confessor. Boom. Alright. Sludge Belcher. Got Eloise in this deck. Brain Boy in WCA went undefeated in groups with his Elise Starseeker Priest, but he said Elise wasn't good. It was just in there because he thought it'd be funny. But I don't know. You get the map, man. You can combo map with Wild Pyromancer. You got better win condition against Control Warrior. Maybe it's good. We'll find out. What am I missing? Zombie Chows. It's always Zombie Chows. Alright, so what do we got here? We got Confessor Peltress. We got Dr. Boom. And we got one Flash Heal, no Cabal. And that's kind of the difference from Standard Priest. Because Standard Priest is basically this, except you take out the Peltress and the Boom and you put in Cabals instead, and you get a second Flash Heal in over the Elise. And Dark Cultists or Death Lords in Standard Priest. So, yeah, it seems good. It seems like it's a very good Priest shell. Definitely got a lot of the good Priest cards in there. You're going to be able to use Wild Pyromancer and stuff to beat down on aggro. If you draw like a Tempo-y curve and you draw all your minions in a row, Dr. Boom to finish it off gives Priest a better win condition. And then Peltress late game seems pretty sweet. And we took out the old Control Priest win condition, which is in a lot of matchups bursting with 2 Flash Heals. So we changed that out to be a Peltress-oriented win condition or an Elise Starseer-oriented win condition. So it seems good. Adding different win conditions to a Priest deck. Let's try it. No Death Lords or Valens. Standard Control Priest doesn't run Valens, but it runs Death Lords, yeah. Valens is sort of like shifting out. It's only in like tempo-based priests, which the only tempo-based priest is like Dragon Priest, and like no one's playing that anymore. So Valens used to be one of the best cards in Priest, and everyone's like all high praise to Valens, and lately no one's really been running it, so it's kind of interesting. There's a curve. I like that. I like Wild Pyromancer a lot of times against Warlock, because eventually they implosion. So I think I'm going to just keep this whole curve. We got a 1, and then we got a 2, and then we'll figure the rest out later. We can even take a 3 off this guy. So odds are we're going to have a pretty sick curve going on. Alright, Zombie Chow, turn 1. Never bad. What kind of Warlock is it? He kept 3 cards, so like my instinct tells me Zoo, but he could still be any sort of Warlock for sure. Queen? What? Slowest Warlock player NA. Happy New Year's from Greece. Happy New Year from Michigan, man. Alright, we did it. We played the Haunted Creeper. Alright, so let's play the Museum Curator and see what we can find. Ooh,